one of the things that I love to do is bring on new faces with new stories. This is obviously a returning guest, but he has 4 stages of wealth that he is sharing with folks. And I really want to dig in, ask some questions, because I think it's really important for folks to understand there are stages to this game, and it's best to go from 1 to 2 to 3. You really can't cheat and jump ahead. Brandon, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate all you do.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
Absolutely. Why don't you just kind of break down what your vision is for this 4 stages, kind of what made you create it, and then we'll get into each stage.
Sure. I blame you. This started from the YouTube channel. As I grew up, I've spent now 30 years in the real estate and financial industry, and you start sharing things with videos, and it helps you crystallize thoughts. And this one came to me less than a month ago of trying to dial this in from my history and trying to make it concise. So what I say is we all start with the elementary skill. The first level is learning how to generate income. It can be from both work and from other streams of income, and mastering how to grow that income. But then that. We all do that, but then we hit a wall, and then we're learning, and we know even athletes, lottery winners don't get past this level. They can generate the income or come into the income, but they can't go to the next level, which I would call more of that middle school, junior high level. Now that you're generating the income, how do you begin to hold on to some of it and keep it?
So again, I was wondering where discretionary income comes to be, and I'm guessing that's level 2, right? Level 1 is, hey, you got to go, fend for yourself. You got to go eat what you kill, kind of make your money however you do that. Lots of ways to do it, lots of combined ways to do it. So that's level 1, and I agree with you. That's where it all starts. Heck, that's why I got a job, was to make money.
Right.
And then level 2 is you start to understand that you got to spend some, you got to keep some, you got to use some. So that's kind of level 2.
Level 2. I mean, even our kids are learning that. They're starting to, as mine are in the late teenage years, they're starting to earn income, and teaching them to start holding on to some of it, not spending it always on eating out or whatever fun that they're doing, begin to retain some of that. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't get past that. And we see, as our incomes rise and we're watching that expenses, a lot of people get stuck in their income rises, but their expenses rise too, and they can't get past level 1 financial literacy.
No, I agree with that 100%. I was guilty of that for 30 years. As my income went up, I would spend it. That's what I thought money was for. I thought money was for spending, was for enjoyment. And that's so embarrassing, right? I have an advanced degree. I was an accountant, econ degree, and I was just enjoying life. It's kind of wild to think about.
And I think, Michael, I too, I went through a lot of this, and in the recent decade, spent more time working on it. And I'm embarrassed to say, here I was in all this financial industry and didn't fully implement it. I was starting to, but not in earnest till within the last 10 years. And so now you start learning how to keep some of it, which is living below your means. And then you're getting into, what should I do with that income? What should I do with those monies? And I go into teaching how to hold your money accountable. And I've talked about this in the past. There's 4 types of money, which is your safe money, which is 0 to 4%. I'm sorry, your dead money is 0 to 4%. Your safe money is 5 to 9. Your healthy money is 10 to 13. And then wealthy money is 14% and up.
Yeah.
And so you start learning those skills. And so now you're moving into the high school level, that you're not just starting to hold on to it, you're holding it accountable. And now you're starting to build wealth. You're investing in, could it be the stock market? Could it be real estate? Could it be lots of different things? But you're beginning to really become an investor. And that's the high school level.
I love that. And I love how you break down the rates, right? 0 to 4 is dead money. I love that, because again, that helps people understand that, yeah, maybe if you have an emergency fund, dead money is okay, right? If you got a 5, 10K emergency fund, go put it in a money market savings, high yield savings. It's okay. But there's got to be some money that you're trying to, stretch, and you're trying to work a little harder, and you don't need it today or tomorrow. It could be invested for the long term. So I like how you did this.
because you're really learning the rule of 72 and you're
Yep.
understanding the power of compounding, and the way to get ahead is being able to get higher returns so that that compounding, that doubling effect, we only have so many years of life. We need that to double many, many times. And I think that's where sometimes the stock market 401k struggles with, that you have to have decades of it versus real estate.
Yeah. Yeah, folks, if you don't know what the rule of 72 is, basically take the yield or return you're expecting in the year, divide it by 72, and that is how quickly your money doubles. That's what the rule of 72 is. So I love that rule. And again, yeah, you divide 4 by 72, you get one number. You divide 14 by 72, you get a completely different and shorter time frame. Love the rule of 72.
Right. And then, so I think then the final stage, and it's taken me a while and it takes people a while, you're now starting to build wealth. And if you're doing it within real estate, you're seeing how it grows. Instead of using your own money to create the equity in the project, it's finding opportunities where you can get both cash flow and grow the wealth instantly at the same time through forced equity. And that could be two ways that I've seen. I've got one, I'm working on a video right now. Someone I know that bought a property. It was a triplex, and we both looked at it, and there was a way, these 2 3-bedroom units, they already had a separate entrance into one of the bedrooms. We're going to split it and make it into 3 2-bedroom units and 2 1-bedroom units. The cash flow grows, which then, buying it based off cash flow, it imputes bigger value on the property. And we've created forced equity with a few little structural changes to this property. And I'm going to create a video walking through this. Now, I do them through builds where I'm able to build them for less, for about 20 to 23% less than their actual value. But I'm still, the primary goal when you're doing these purchases, it has to be done through cash flow. It has to be positive cash flow.
Yeah, this is really where, I keep telling people that, you got to become elite. You got to be able to see where you can create value. Walking through a triplex where you can just it just opens up to you like, oh my gosh, we're going to go from 3 rentals to 5. And again, on a cash flow basis, it's going to be a much better return. What are the costs are, whether you're doing build, infill, build to rent like you are. It's just, when you are an elite at something, you could see value, but you can also see around corners where there's pain coming. This was something that we did back in 2006 or 7, that we saw housing was going to crash. So we sold them. We moved our equity to apartments, right? So when you're elite, when you're focused, you can just start to see things. And I love that this is stage 4.
Yeah, I would call it your mastery level, your MBA. Is getting to that. And then you referenced it too, being able to see what's after what's next.
Mm-hmm.
That is somebody that has great vision. We're looking not just today, we're not looking a year out, we're looking 5, 10, multiple decades out. The wealthy do that. They're thinking in decades. They're making strategic choices. They're not following the get-rich-quick schemes. They understand true wealth happens over time. And I don't know if you've seen this, but I have. It seems to be when wealth comes quickly, it also leaves you quickly.
Amen. Yes.
And so I love what we teach, that real estate is a long-term, decade-plus play. And what I teach, even to the teenagers that I've taught too, I'm not teaching you a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm teaching a get wealthy for sure plan, but it takes 10 years. It's not this flashy, there's trials and tribulations through those 10 years, but it will happen if you've bought it right and stick with the plan.
I love that. I love that. Well, you're talking about some projects. I know you got a couple of projects going on. What's going on in your world?
Yeah, I've got 2 that we just finished up. One we finished about 4 or 5 weeks ago. It's already rented. It was a single family build. It was one, built it for $208,000. It appraised at $270.
Nice.
So it cash flowed almost $400 a month from day one. with a total of 30,000 in the project, and that included all closing costs. I bought down the rate and my cash in, which I chose to put in because I didn't have to, but I wanted to start from a bigger cash flow position. But I created forced equity. The same one, I've got another build, exact same floor plan. It's one street over. It's going live literally this week. The rents actually have gone up just a slightly amount. I rented the last one for $2,050 a month. This one looks like it'll rent for around $2,100. So just a tiny bit because of the market and there's lack of inventory. I'm the cheapest at $2,100. So
wow. Yeah,
that's a good spot to be.
I love that. I love that. Folks, I don't know if I've said this on a recording yet, but Brandon will be at the ORAD event, President's Day weekend 2026. Wow, 2026 already. He's going to be one of our featured speakers talking about exactly what he's doing. So just know that he will be there and he will be sharing his story. Brandon, where can people find you?
My channel is B2R Investing and Financial Talk. And just, still first in the infancy of the first 9 months, creating the videos, doing them live. They're not edited. I'm going to make word mistakes, but I'm trying to impart my 30 years. I'm very, I would say, conservative of how I share. I don't want you to be highly leveraged. I want someone to retain that wealth for decades. And wealth, we know, real estate is the anchor of all the wealthy. If you study the wealthy, real estate's the anchor.
Love it. I love what you're doing. Love that you're coming back to the event, sharing your story. Thank you for being here. Again, folks, B2R Investing in Financial Talk. Take care.